The Three Ravens is an English folk ballad, printed in the song book Melismata, compiled by Thomas Ravenscroft and published in 1611. But it is perhaps older than that. Newer versions were recorded right up through the 19th century. Francis James Child recorded several versions in his Child Ballads. A common derivative is called Twa Corbies, and it follows a similar general story, but with a cynical twist. The ballad takes the form of three scavenger birds conversing about where and what they should eat. One tells of a newly slain knight, but they find he is guarded by his loyal hawks and hounds. Furthermore, a fallow and obvious metaphor for the knight's pregnant lover, a mistress, comes to his body, kisses his wounds, bears him away, and buries him, leaving the ravens without a meal. The narrator, however, gradually departs from the raven's point of view, ending with "God send you a gentleman, such hawks, such hounds, and such a lemon," the comment of the narrator on the action, rather than the ravens whose discussion he earlier describes. Alternatively, the lyrics may simply ascribe the apparent narrator's sentiments to the raven, which given the previous personification of the raven seems just as possible. Text of the ballad. The lyrics to The Three Ravens are here transcribed using 1611 orthography. They can be sung either straight through in stanzas of 4 lines each, or in stanzas of 2 lines each, repeating the first line 3 times depending on how long the performer would like the ballad to last. The second method appears to be the more canonical, so that is what is illustrated below. The refrains are sung in all stanzas, but they will only be shown for the first. There were 3 ravens sat on a tree, down a down, hey down, hey down. There were 3 ravens sat on a tree, with a down. There were 3 ravens sat on a tree, they were as blacker as they might be, with a down. Derry, 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 down, down. The one of them said to his mate, "Where shall we our breakfast take?" "Down in yonder green field, there lies a knight slain under his shield. His hounds they lie down at his feet, so well they can the master keep her. His hawks they fly so eagerly, there's no fowl dare him come. And down there comes a fallow doe, as great with young as she might go. She lift up his bloody head, and kissed his wounds that were so red. She got him up upon her backer, and carried him to earthen leg. She buried him before the prime. She was dead herself ere you and song time. God send you a gentleman, such hawks, such hounds, and such a lemon." The Twa Corbies. The Twa Corbies is a related Scottish version of the song with a more dark and cynical tone. There are only 2 scavengers in the Twa Corbies, but this is the least of the differences between the songs, though they do begin the same. Rather than commenting on the loyalty of the knight's beasts, the Corbies tell that the hawk and the hound have forsaken the master, and are off chasing other game, while his mistress has already taken another lover. The ravens are therefore given an undisturbed meal, as nobody else knows where the man lies, or even that he is dead. They talk in gruesome detail about the meal they will make of him, plucking out his eyes and using his hair for the nests. Some themes believed to be portrayed in Twa Corbies are the fragility of life, the idea life goes on after death, and a more pessimistic viewpoint on life. The loneliness and despair of the song are summed up in the final couplets: "O'er his banes, when they are bare, the wind shall blow forevermore." There may be a few different versions of this anonymously authored poem. The full text of at least one version of the poem is as follows: "As I was walking all alone, I heard Twa Corbies making a main, the tane unto the t'other say, Where shall we gang and dine today? In behind yon old failed I wot there lies a new slain knight, and nobody kens that he lies there, but his hawk, his hound, and lady fair. His hound is to the hunting gane, his hawk to fetch the wild fowl hame, his lady's ta'en another mate, so we may mak our dinner sweet." YLL sit on his white house bane, and'll pike out his bonny blueen, while Loco his golden hair wheel the cow nest when it grows bare. Mony a one for him makes main, but nanes I'll ken where he is gane o'er his white banes. When they're bare, the wind sall blow forevermore. This ballad was one of 25 traditional works included in Ballads Weird and Wonderful and illustrated by Vernon Hill. Recordings. The Three Ravens or Twa Corbies have been performed and recorded by artists such as Heather Alexander, ANNWN, a chorus of two, Bishop, boiled in lead, Scott Boswell, Jazia Satua, Clam Chowder, The Corries, Alfred Della, The Duplets, Francis Fay, Richard Dyer Bennett, Fiddler's Dram, Ray and Amp, Archie Fisher, John Fiegel and Ewan McCall, John Hull, Peter, Paul and Mary, Bert Jansch, Joel Cohen, Kaylan Suver, Andrew King, Marie Little, Malinky, Old Blind Dogs, Omnia, Kate Price, Shelmish, Sol Invictus, Son Hagel, Sequester, Steeleye Span, Andreas Scholl, Hamish Imlag, Richard Thompson, Ariella Uliano, Diana Obscura, Dare Di Mezzo, Kenneth McKenna, Castellaro and the Baltimore Consort, Merry Wives of Windsor, Sportive Tricks, The Creepy Bard, The Sands Family, Alice Moving Under Skies, Astral Weeks and Winter Filleth. Popular culture. The song is featured in the Adventure Company's game Jack the Ripper and plays a major role in the gameplay. The song features in Simon Sharma's A History of Britain, particularly in the episodes The Body of the Queen, The British Wars, and The Two Winstons. There is an episode The Three Ravens as told by John Hurt in Jim Henson's HBO special The Storyteller, which, despite its title, is based on the German fairy tale The Six Swans. The popular American rock band The Horrible Crows takes its name from the poem Twa Corbies. The song is mentioned in Diana Gabaldon's novel The Fiery Cross when Roger Mackenzie encounters some crows in the woods. A recording of the song features in the credits for the 2014 Channel 4 period drama New Worlds, which is set in England during the 1680s. The song appears in the fantasy novel The Worm Ouroboros by Eric Rucker Edison, London, 1922, sung by the Lady Mavrian in mourning for her lost brother. Worm was one of favorite novels of J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis. Reception in other languages. Both The Three Ravens and Twa Corbies have been translated to other languages, typically all sung to the same melody as Twa Corbies, or that of the Breton song called an Alec. Known versions include Danish, Ravnena, a translation of Twa Corbies by Danish folklorist Svend Grundtvig, Hebrew, translated by Nathan Altman, and a more popular translation by Yakov Shabtai. Finnish Kaksi Korpia is a translation of Twa Corbies by Finnish band Taru Jensari. Frisian, de Twa Roken, translated by Clees Bruinsma, sung by Doda Veman on his LP, Frastras Jeblos. German, Die Drei Raben, a quite literal translation of The Three Ravens by Theodor Fontaine. Die Zwei Raben by the same author, is the best-known German version of Twa Corbies. The German medieval rock crossover group Shellmesh wrote a German version of The Three Ravens lyrics, also titled Rabenballad. Also, the German group Subway to Sally wrote the song Krähenfraß, also based on the Twa Corbies version and using a very similar melody, but with even more sinister lyrics. This version places the story in our times, replaces the knight with a soldier, and adds a new stanza in the end, loosely translating to "The bare bones will be clean and preserved for a long time, and announce shining from the dirt what of soldiers' purpose is." The German neo-medieval group Die Streuner has their own version titled Rabenballad, with a rather emotional melody and cynical lyrics. Not only do the dogs stop guarding the master, they eat his flesh the next day. The Falcons are simply simply no longer seen, and the maid, already that evening, doesn't sleep alone. The Czech folk music group Spiritual Quintet adapted the melody of The Three Ravens to record a song Valkyrie. However, the theme has been completely changed, as the new lyrics concerned the Wars of the Roses between Yorks and Lancasters. The Czech folk music group ISNI adopted the Twa Corbies in very lyric translation, quite similar to original. The Czech folk metal group Rackham used the tune in song Havrana. The lyrics, however, follow a story of two Scottish outlaw brothers, so the ravens are rather metaphorical. Norwegian Ravnena, a translation very similar to the Danish version. The Norwegian folk rock group Folk performed this song on the debut album, and used a tune very similar to Stili Span's version. Russian. The great Russian poet Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin published in 1828 partial translation of the French translation of Sir Walter Scott's Border Poems. It includes the poem entitled, which has become known to almost every literate Russian-speaking person. Pushkin's translation contains only the first half of the poem, ending with, "And the mistress awaits for her lover, not the killed one, but the alive one," thus making a dark hint the central point of the story. Many composers of the time wrote musical interpretations of the poem. The Russian folk band Sherwood recorded Russian-language version of Twa Corbies in their album Sweet Joan, using own translation. Basque Biblique is a translation of Twa Corbies from the Basque poet John Miranda, sung by the Basque singer Imanol Zabal. The Polish folk band Ode Pust Zupełnie recorded Polish-language version Ballad A Ode Watch Krukich. Files. Rybenan Walter und Abmunkrehen, a parody of The Three Ravens.